Well, good afternoon, everybody. How y'all doing? Pretty good here, and welcome to the channel. On my way home tonight, and wanted to make a little bit of video addressing some myths about the Corvette Stingray, specifically the 2017 or the C7 version, which is what I have. There's a lot of things float around people talk about when they're talking about sports cars, in this case the Corvette, and most of them just aren't true. The first one is that there's no room in here. There's no room in the Corvette. Now, I've also had a Porsche Boxster, and I would say the Corvette is roomier. There is more space in here. I don't feel confined. I don't feel like I need more room. I mean, it is a sports car, right? If you want something that's bigger on the inside, you should probably get something else, you know, an SUV or whatever. But I think for what the car is, there is plenty of room in here. I don't ever feel claustrophobic, let's say. The next thing is that it doesn't make for a good daily driver. Now, I might have thought this a little myself early on, that you can't drive the car every day, you know, it just doesn't work well for that. Well, that's not true. I've been daily driving the Corvette for a little while now. I've had it for a few months as well. There's nothing wrong with it for a daily driver. It's fun to drive. It's powerful. You're comfortable in it. It's not like you sit in here and you know, you're just waiting to get out of it. Because my route anyway is rush hour traffic both ways. I usually spend about an hour in the car one way. No issues with it being a daily driver. It works great for me. Sure, it would work great for most people. That leads me into the next thing kind of related to daily driving, and that is that it gets terrible gas mileage. It's just horrible. You know, with that V8 engine, all that horsepower, 465, I believe, it gets horrible gas mileage. That's simply not true. This car is getting about between 24 and 25 miles a gallon. Now, I realize that's not Prius gas mileage, but for a V8 with the kind of horsepower and power that this car has, I think that's pretty darn good, actually. And that is probably maybe 60-40, 70-30 stop and go freeway driving for me. So really not too bad. It would do even better if I could, you know, keep moving most of the time. And this one's kind of interesting. You should have bought a Z06. The Z06 is better. It's a better car. If you're going to get a Corvette, spend the extra money, get a Z06. I would kind of go the other way around. If you're going to get a Corvette, don't get a Z06. The only time you should get a Z06, I think, is if you're going to track the car. You know, daily driving and maybe even an occasional track day would be fine for this car. It's set up for that. It has the PDR system in it, so you can record what you're doing on the track if that's what you want to do with it. But I don't see any reason to spend, you know, an extra, oh, I don't know, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 to get a Z06 for that extra bump in horsepower and stiffer, bumpier ride, really, because that's what you'll get in the Z06 on the regular roads. I think the amenities are better, or at least the same, in the Stingray, depending on what package you get, of course. Poor quality. You know, it's a GM, it's an American-built car. It's not like the other, you know, European sports cars like the Porsche, the Audi, or any of those cars, you know, that are better quality. I would say that's just not true. I haven't found anything wrong since I've had the Corvette. Nothing has happened. There haven't been any issues. I can't say that for other cars that I've had in the past. A couple of Audis, about a year ago probably, where I had some sort of a weird steering thing. You know, they would kind of, I don't know, it was really odd, kind of notchy, like you'd hit a notch in the steering while you were just going straight and it would want to go left or right. The response was, it's just inherent. It's an inherent feature of the Audi. I'm like, really? So, yeah, from a quality standpoint, no issues for me whatsoever. I haven't even had a recall on this car, which again, I can't say that for many of the other cars that I've had, sports cars in particular. It's difficult to see out of. You can't see out of the Corvette. You know, when you're in rush hour traffic and you're looking around, you can't see anything. How can you possibly navigate the treacherous rush hour gridlock traffic, which you can't move anyway, so I don't know what you'd be seeing, but because you can't see out of it. I must say I was pleasantly surprised. I thought myself, because you know you hear these things, that there might be issues seeing out of the Corvette because it's low and it's, you know, it's a sports car. I would say that I had more trouble, and this is probably because it was convertible, seeing out of the Boxster. I don't have any issues with this. The mirrors are positioned properly so that you can use them the way you should, and you can see pretty well around the pillars in the back with the little windows that are in front of them. No issues for me. So again, that was a pleasant surprise. Now this one I think is kind of funny. The Corvette is an old man's car. The only people that ever buy them are old gray-haired men. You know, maybe a few years ago, you know, maybe that was the norm for Corvette owners. But take a look at them. I mean, have you looked at a Corvette lately? You know, it's kind of got that European sleekness to it and its look. Technology-wise, it does everything. Everything that a more modern, younger driver would want in a car. This thing is a hotspot, if I want it to be. A Wi-Fi hotspot. So I'm not sure why that myth still persists, because it's definitely not true. And I know that even GM themselves have addressed that, because they found that their ownership was dying off and not being replaced by younger buyers. So from a business standpoint, they had to step forward. They had to do things to the car from an appearance standpoint and from a technological standpoint to attract younger buyers. And I think what they've done is a really good idea. It's been really successful for them, I think. I mean, I bought the car and I don't consider myself to be an old man. So, depending on how old you are, I suppose. Matter of fact, Corvette is even coming out with a mid-engine version, I think, to become even more competitive with younger buyers, i.e. the Porsche Boxster, the Porsche Cayman, some other cars out there that are mid-engine that seem to be more appealing to younger buyers, I guess. So anyway, I just wanted to get on here and answer a few of those things. I see them on the web occasionally. Every once in a while, a friend of mine or something, you know, will say something like that, and I'm like, really? I mean, go look at the car, man. I mean, what are you talking about? So I think it's just kind of funny. They're not true, in my opinion. GM has done a great job, I think, in modernizing the Corvette with the C7, and then even going further with the next version that's supposed to be out in the next couple of years with the mid-engine. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment below. As usual, appreciate you guys watching. Please click subscribe if you haven't before. And we'll see you next time on the web. Have a good night. Bye.